What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, President Biden finally visits Maui as the worst fire disaster here in U.S. history. Still has over 1,000 people missing, many of which who will never be found lost in the fires. I'll actually let you hear exactly what he says. Many people are actually very surprised at what he says. I'll let you hear two things what he says, which were absolutely, well, at least a little bit surprising. I'm also going to let you hear some footage of the Maui fire. Actually, some hearings that there have. There's some controversy over a lot of things going down here. I actually just did another video here on it, and let me show you some headlines here. Yeah, number one, Maui residents who disobeyed barricades survived fires. Yeah, so there's so much disorganizations with what happened during the fires. So people who disobeyed barricades survived the fires. So just think about that. Yeah, those who disobeyed barricade road closures during the Maui fires survived the disaster, while many of those who heeded orders to turn around perished in their cars and homes with no way out. That's what the Associated Press is reporting. Think about that for a second and the tragedy that this is, or corruption, or you guys let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, or is this just a massive mistake? At least 114 people were killed so far in the fires, and the FBI is estimating that up to 1,100 more are still unaccounted for. Unbelievable. And many will never be found because their bodies are literally dust, just obliterated from the fire. Officials are facing increased scrutiny for the emergency response, including why the emergency sirens were not set off and whether closing the roads prevented people from actually getting to safety or cost them their lives. Maui Police Chief John Pelletier said during a news conference that officers never stop people from leaving the area. But the Associated Press report suggests that residents were discouraged from disobeying the barricade. One family swerved around the barricade set up to escape the flames, while another resident took a dirt road uphill to climb above the fire, according to the Associated Press. However, many others who stayed in cars on that road were stuck in a gridlock while fires surrounded them on most sides with the ocean on the remaining side. Nate Baird and Courtney Stapleton recounted their experience to the outlet, saying they loaded the car up with their two sons, Baird's mother, and one dog to escape the flames. When they turned south to escape Lahaina, they were met with cones and were told to turn around and go back to Lahaina, which was already burning. Instead of turning around, they swerved past the cones and escaped to a neighboring town. Nobody realized, quote, how little time we had. Like even us being from the heart of the fire, we did not comprehend. Like we literally had minutes, and one wrong turn, we would all be dead right now. Wow. Baird told the reporter that if they had 10 more minutes, they could have saved children who were left home alone in the neighborhood during the fires. The kids just don't have a filter. So their son ran up and was just telling our son, you know, this kid is dead. This kid is dead. And their parents were at work and they were home alone and nobody had a warning. Nobody knew. And this is part of the major problem with them not using the sirens. And of course, the officials are saying, oh, well, the sirens could have confused people. They could have, gone towards the fires, which I think is absolutely ridiculous because, if you use the sirens, at least you get people alerted. They come out of their homes and they start looking. I mean, who in their right mind is going to go towards the fires? I mean, all you have to do is come out of your homes. At least you're alerted that something is wrong. And I mean, if you see a massive fire, you're not going to go towards it. Yeah, you might think it's a tsunami at first, but when you come out of your home and you start going left, right, center, I mean, whatever, if you see a massive fire, you're not going to keep going towards the fire. Even if you think there's a tsunami and you go that way and you say, oh, there's a fire, it's massive, you're not going to keep going towards the fire. You're going to figure it out pretty quickly. You can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The next controversy going on here right now is that they're not releasing the list of the 1,000 plus people that are missing, many of which are children. Take a listen. They just had a hearing on this. Take a listen to what they're saying right now.
I start at the back of the room, the far gentleman with the red shirt. I saw you first. Please say.
Kiahi Tucker with Hawaii News Now. Is the county considering publicizing the list to get the public involved in helping to whittle it down, as was done in California?
Thank you, Kiahi. The question is, will we be moving towards publicizing a list of names? Correct.
Look, great question. It's fair, and I am going to answer it. But give me 1 second just to say a couple things, if you don't mind. The amount of work that all of the first responders and members of the community are doing is so much that we'll never be able to capture. We'll never be able to quantify that. We have people that literally responded knowing their homes burned down. They know that they have people that are deeply affected by this. We have people going to work, both fire, police, medical. They're borrowing clothes. They're borrowing clothes. Their kids are borrowing clothes. They have nothing. And so I just think it's so important that we take a moment as human beings and recognize how much we're really into this. Reference the question, let me answer that. So the answer is yes, we are looking to do that, but what we want to do is we want to get a verified list. The 1,100 names right now, we know that there's a margin of that some of them have first names only. And there's no contact number back. So there was John's missing. When we try to call back who said that, nobody's answering. I have a retired member of the department that was on Pukalani, was never down there. His name was on the list. And so we're trying to scrub this to make it as accurate as we can. There is an email right now. We just set this up before we came in. Unaccounted@mpd.net. Unaccounted@mpd.net. We want you to do a report because right now we have 85. So we can talk about lists and we can talk about numbers, but I have 85. So if you're serious, do a police report. Because I'll tell you what, if you want to waste our time and do a fictitious report, we'll deal with that. But the reason I'm saying it is don't waste our time when we're trying to do the right thing. Don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. We're going to scrub the data. Once we get to what we think is a viable list or a verified list, we'll push that out. We'd like to do that in the next few days, maybe sooner than that. I don't want to get tied into exactly what day and what time. Because then it might not be exactly right. But yes, we will get that out there. So if we do know that there's somebody we can take off, great. And if we know it's somebody we need to focus on, great. There is no secrecy. There's no hiding different things. But we want to make sure that we're as respectful as we possibly can. Thank you.
So you guys can let me know your thoughts on that. President Biden is finally there in Maui. And here is what he had to say. 2 different clips. I'll combine them. Let me know your thoughts on this.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. And lightning struck at home on a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond. Make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. It was difficult. I can only imagine what it's like to lose your home. America's deadliest wildfire in over a century. And Jill and I have what's left, walked Front Street, what's left of it. We've surveyed the damage from the air as well. The devastation is overwhelming. To date, 114 dead, hundreds of people unaccounted for. I remember when I got the call, my first wife and daughter, I was a young senator, and I got a call in Washington. I hadn't been sworn in yet. I wasn't old enough. And I was hiring staff in the Capitol at Teddy Kennedy's office. And I got a phone call saying from my fire department, and a young first responder kind of panicked, "You got to come home. There's been an accident." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Your wife, she's dead. Come home. Come home." The tractor trailer had broadsided her and killed her in a car accident along with my little daughter. And I remember all the way down from Washington home wondering what a lot of people here are wondering. What about my two boys? How are they? They were in the car. I never got a read on that. Were they going to be all right? They were badly injured. Were they going to make it? Had they made it? Wasn't until I walked into the emergency room that I saw that they were there. The difference between knowing somebody's gone and worrying whether they're available to come back are two different things.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here on a daily basis that you need to know about. So if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. Don't forget to like and share this video here as well. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to see my other video I just did on Maui about the sirens that didn't go off, or new missiles from Russia that were given to North Korea that could target the US. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.